Polly Bath, and I travel throughout the country helping schools manage and change difficult behavior that interrupts instruction. Today, I'd like to address a question of yours. Do you have any ideas that would help my young kids learn self-management and regulation? First of all, before I even talk about self-management and self-regulation, I want to just talk a little bit about self-awareness. One of the things that we've got to pay attention to is when people use self-management and regulation techniques, it's because they are actually aware that they need them. And that's where it's hard for younger kids, is that their self-awareness isn't there. So the example is when I get up in the morning and I haven't slept well, I have a head cold. Let's just use that example. My ability to use my self-management and self-regulation skills is going to be less than on days when I feel physically well. So, but I'm an adult. I can say self-aware, Polly, you don't feel good today. It's going to be harder for you to get through the day. So the things you're going to have to do is take a breath, take some time out, bring that little Keurig tea pod with you so that you have that this afternoon. And believe it or not, knowing that that little, Keurig tea pod is there in my bag, I'm actually feeling better and can self-manage. You have all kinds of tools that you proactively bring with you on a daily basis to get through the day. And you only take the tools you need, but you're aware of it. And you know on days when you need more of that stuff. Our kids don't know that. So it needs to be something that they're taught specifically. So always use cause and effect language. So if I say, when we see things like little calm stickers and all kinds of stuff we see in the market right now, we say to the child, you're feeling this, use your calm sticker. You're feeling this, grab your mat in the corner. So always try to make sure you give them a self-aware message with a self-regulation technique. So there's a whole bunch of things out there, but the caution I want to give you is things like blanket approaches like fidgets. I often walk into a classroom and I see fidgets flying all over. It's from, juggling balls to, cushions on the seat and wiggle seats, and kids are all over the place. Great tools, but if they're not being used to self-manage during instruction, then they're not a good tool. They're just another distraction. So we've got to be super proactive about telling kids how to use them, when to use them, and not just allowing it to be everybody gets a fidget, because it will always backfire. And remember too, little kids' books are really good for little kids, but they're also good for older kids. So if you find some great tools out there, for example, I might have a book like this. Is one of my little favorites. It's called Peaceful Piggy Meditation. And it's just a simple thing that we can read to our kids. And I can read this to older kids. And it's just a fun book that says, when you get really frustrated, when things don't go your way, here's what you can do. And I'll be reading this stuff on a regular basis. One of my other favorites is, what is it like to be in the present? There's so many of these tools out there. I might read one of my other favorites, which is After the Fall. Many of us have seen this one. It's how Humpty Dumpty gets back up and why he gets back up. These are regular messages that we can bring into our classrooms from kindergarten right through high school. Yes, would I read this for a high school kid? Absolutely. And I would remind them, this is a very, very good message, what to do after the fall, or how to be present and in the moment so that they can use them later on when they need them. So again, it's not a blanket approach. Access those services you have in your building. Call up that occupational therapist. They got stuff up their sleeve like you wouldn't believe. And many of the things they have up their sleeve work for every child, not just the child who's receiving services. So you can proactively be using these techniques with lots of kids before they get to a place where they have to be evaluated. So it's a good message for all of us. But remember the bottom line, self-aware is always going to be the place to go before we self-manage. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, watch these videos. If you've got questions for future videos, include them in the comments below.